How did I complete the David Goggins challenge? That's what we're going to talk about today in this video. I'm going to give you 5 tips on how I did it, and hopefully you'll be able to use them and apply them to whatever challenge you set out to do. But before we get into it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, join the Towka tribe. If we haven't met before, my name is Jonathan. Let's get into it. So the first tip is stay on top of your nutrition and your hydration. Throughout the entire challenge, I was on top of everything as far as what I was putting into my body and then how I was refueling, hydration especially. 48 miles is a long ways, and in that short period of time, your body is going to start to shut down just because you're probably not used to going that distance. I know I wasn't. So I was constantly drinking water. I was putting electrolytes in my water. I was making sure that I was having snacks and big meals in between. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything super difficult. I pretty much just winged it, to be honest with you, because I've always been on top of my nutrition. It would help me as far as the challenge, as far as nutrition and hydration wise. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, get sleep. In between each run or each exercise that you're doing, you have got to get off of your feet and you have to rest, even if it's for a short period of time. Like, I couldn't sleep that long. I only slept for like an hour in between, and then the rest of the time I was just trying to stretch, foam roll, relax, basically just do something recovery wise before the next exercise. Obviously I couldn't run because my calves started really bothering me, and I've had calf issues the last few years. So I, just did everything that I could to recover and to get ready for that next set. You just got to get off of your feet. That would be the biggest thing. And then make sure that your body is ready for the next exercise. That is definitely important, not only in this challenge, but in life in general and your general fitness goals. So getting enough rest and getting enough sleep is definitely crucial in this challenge. Tip number 3, stay motivated and stay positive. It is going to get very, very challenging. For me, the second day was definitely the hardest because I was actually working all day from open to close while having to do this challenge. I was sleep deprived. I was extremely tired, and yeah, it was not easy, guys. It really, really wasn't. But staying positive and then having people around me who were supporting me in the challenge, and then obviously trying to stay as motivated as I could was definitely a hard part for me, because you're just so over it at that point. You're like wanting it to be done, and you just have to callous your mind to tell yourself that you can do this, that you can keep pushing no matter how bad it gets, no matter how hard it gets, and no matter how much energy or lack thereof that you have. You got to just keep going. So staying motivated and having that support system and staying positive is definitely a huge part, and it was a huge part in my success in that challenge. So that's tip number 3 for you. Tip number 4, don't give up. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to stop. There are going to be moments when you feel like you cannot go on, you can't do this, and you just have to block out every single negative attack and negative thought that tries to creep into your mind. And it's easier said than done, I know, but for me, the very first attempt at it, I quit. I stopped just because I got into my head. And then about 10 hours later, I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to do this. I set out to do this. I'm going to achieve it. I'm going to inspire people who may feel like quitting during this whole thing, or, want to give up on themselves or in life. So went the first 4 miles running, had a really bad experience as far as my calves flaring up. The second 4 miles, my calves were killing me the entire time, and it was pouring down rain, so the conditions were not that ideal. And yeah, I was just like, you know what, I don't feel like this. I don't want to do it. I got into my head basically. And so 10 hours later go by, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to just do it no matter what. Whether I have to walk the entire way, do the elliptical, whatever I have to do, I'm going to do this. So I didn't quit. I didn't give up. And that is a true testament to the willpower and the mindset of how your mind can be your greatest weapon or it can be your worst enemy. Tip number 4, don't give up. Don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on the challenge. No matter what it is, you will not regret it, and you will be amazed at how far your body can go if your mindset is the right mindset. And tip number 5, which is the most important out of all the tips I would say throughout the entire challenge, be comfortable being uncomfortable. You are going to be out of it. It's going to probably be one of the hardest things you're ever going to have to do. what I did in between each exercise was I slept for about an hour, but I just stayed in my clothes basically. Sometimes I would change socks, I would change shoes, I would change workout clothes, but I slept in them. I laid on the floor. I didn't shower, I didn't get in my bed because I wanted to stay uncomfortable. If you stay uncomfortable throughout the challenge, it'll be easier to keep going. If you get into your bed, if you have warm food, if you do things basically to where you're getting that comfortable mindset, it'll be harder to go to the next exercise or go to that next set. It is a lot easier to a certain extent to keep going if you are uncomfortable. And I got to that point where I was comfortable being totally uncomfortable. It was a horrible feeling. It was a horrible time. It was a lot easier when I was just already cold. I was already tired. I was already sleep deprived. I was already exhausted. It was a little bit easier to just keep going. Just keep telling myself, just one more, just one more. You can do this. Keep going, keep going. Come on, you got this. And I just, self-talk, self-positive motivation, whatever you want to call it. It definitely taught me a lot about myself and how your mind is a weapon and you want to use it for good, obviously, but it can definitely help you achieve success and achieve your goals. And for me, it was definitely, that was the case. So I hope you guys have gotten some insight and some wisdom and inspiration from this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, join the Towka tribe. If you haven't seen any of the other videos that I've made, go ahead and check those out. The links will be in the description below, and I will see you guys on the other side.